A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus and said to him, "Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you." Jesus replied, "What do you wish me to do for you?" They answered, "Grant that in your glory we may sit one at your right and the other at your left." Jesus said to them, "You do not know what you are asking. Can you drink the cup that I drink, or be baptized with the baptism with which I will be baptized?" They said to him, "We can." Jesus said, "The cup that I drink, you will drink. And with the baptism with which I am baptized, you will be baptized. But to sit at my right or my left is not mine to give, but is for those for whom it has been prepared." When the others heard this, they became indignant at James and John. So Jesus summoned them all and said to them, "You know that those who are recognized as rulers over the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones make their authority over them felt. But it shall not be so among you. Rather, whoever wishes to be great among you will be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you will be the slave of all. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. We just heard one of the most fascinating exchanges in the whole Bible. And many of us may have totally missed it, so here it is again. James and John, blood brothers, friends and followers of the Lord, have the chutzpah to turn to Jesus and say, "We want you to do for us whatever we ask of you." It took a lot of brass to make such a request, actually such a demand of Jesus. And truth be told, I think a lot of us, myself included, sometimes pray with just that same spirit, expecting the Lord to do what we want him to do. I think, however, our phrasing is usually at least a little bit more subtle, more nuanced than, "Lord, do what I tell you." But James and John did not soft pedal their ask, not in the least. "We want you to do for us whatever we ask of you." Now, I said this is one of the most fascinating exchanges in the Scriptures, so let's look again at how Jesus answered them. He says, "What do you wish me to do for you?" He takes no offense at their demand. He doesn't reprimand them for being so bold. He doesn't say, "Are you seriously telling me what to do? Are you kidding me?" No, he's completely unruffled by their request, and he responds quite calmly, "Well, what do you wish me to do for you?" For a moment, it looks like he's going to go along with them, like he's going to give them whatever they want. But here's the really fascinating part. His response is a trick response. He's setting them up. He knows just what they're going to ask for because he's heard them and the others arguing about who among them is going to get the best seats in the kingdom of God in heaven. And sure enough, James and John say, "Grant that in your glory we may sit one at your right and one at your left." No better seats in heaven than on either side of Jesus himself. But now, Jesus has James and John right in the palm of his hand. He answers them very simply. "Boys, you don't know what you're asking for." Okay, he didn't say boys, but he did say you don't know what you're asking for. "Can you drink the cup I will drink, or be baptized as I will be baptized?" And since they didn't have a clue about what he meant, they answer, "We can." If they did have a clue, they'd have known that he meant this: "Can you drink the cup of suffering that I'm about to drink? Can you be baptized as I will be baptized, not in the waters of the Jordan River, but in the blood of the cross?" What James and John were trying to do was to make an early reservation for the best seats in the house. Orchestra center, 50-yard line, center court, first class, window seat for James, aisle for John. What they were missing, what they didn't get, was that such seats are saved, or as Jesus puts it, such seats are prepared, not by advanced reservation, but by walking the path that Jesus walks, by drinking the cup that Jesus drinks, by suffering for others as Jesus suffered. Not by pulling strings because Jesus is your pal, but by serving others as Jesus served. And therein lies the crux of today's gospel. James and John were asking for preferential treatment. They wanted to be bumped up to the head of the line. They wanted not to serve, but to be served. And not only to be served, but to be served first. Jesus was right. James and John didn't know what they were asking for. They were clueless about the implications of what they were asking. And that's what Jesus makes clear when he says, "Whoever wishes to be first among you must become the servant of all." In the gospel, Jesus invites us into a relationship with him. And it might seem from this passage and from others that it's a relationship purely based on suffering. Who wants that kind of relationship? Well, that's one way of looking at it, but it's broader and deeper than that. What Jesus invites us to is a relationship of mutual service. He invites us into a community born of those who serve others, who serve one another, who put others' needs ahead of their own. And that kind of serving very often involves sacrifice, which is often not easy, which is usually difficult, often painful. Serving others means sacrifice, and sacrifice often means suffering. To be a little bit more precise here, Jesus invites us into a relationship of compassion, into a compassionate community. Our word compassion comes from two Latin words, com, which means with, and passus, which means to suffer. Compassion, to suffer with someone. A relationship built on sacrificing, on suffering with others. You know, what comes to my mind here are the words two people speak to each other at their wedding. "I take you to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health." These are the promises made in a compassionate relationship. Each partner is saying to the other, no matter what, I'm going to live through, work through, suffer through life with you because I am here to serve you in love. In different ways and in different degrees, this kind of love also describes a parent's relationship with a child, a friend's relationship with another friend, our relationship with anyone in need, especially the poor. In all of these relationships, we're called to serve one another for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health. To serve another to serve others is to put their needs ahead of my own. And that will always come at a price. And the price is sacrifice. I'm reminded here of another old marriage text from the old marriage rite. These words: sacrifice is usually difficult and irksome. Only love can make it easy, and perfect love can make it a joy. Sacrifice is usually difficult and irksome. Only love can make it easy, and perfect love can make it a joy. So the suffering, the sacrifice, the serving Jesus invites us to is all wrapped up in love. He calls us not first to suffering, he calls us first to love. And I'm confident that the people here who truly love understand just why Jesus connects suffering and sacrifice and service and love. So, how might we serve one another? There are about, maybe 3 million ways to do that. Let me suggest to you 7 ways this morning. 7 ways we might be of service to others, of service to all. I can serve others simply by paying attention to them. By paying attention to their lives, their circumstances, their pain, their burdens, their joys, their problems, their fears. So I might ask myself, who at home, at work, at school, who around me might I serve by paying attention to them, by attending to their needs, by bearing their burdens in addition to my own? I can serve others with my affection, with a warm word, a greeting of praise, a hand on the shoulder, a hug, my gentle presence, a firm handshake, any kind gesture. So I might ask myself, who at home, at work, at school, who around me might I serve by giving them my affection, risking, sacrificing my awkwardness or my embarrassment, and letting someone know I love you. I can serve others with my compassion, with my reaching out to someone in trouble, just by showing up in someone's time of need or loss, just being there. I can serve with my silence. Sometimes my silent presence is the most compassionate gift I can offer someone. So I might ask myself, who at home, at work, at school, who around me needs my compassion? Whose suffering might I share by giving of myself, sacrificing even when I'm suffering too? I can serve others by including them, by inviting someone who's often forgotten, by including someone who's usually left out, by reaching out and drawing in someone who's afraid to approach. So I can ask myself, who at home, at work, at school, who around me is waiting to have, to find, to enjoy a place in my life? What might I need to give up, to sacrifice, to make room for others in my heart, to include them on my calendar, in my activities, in my circle of friends? I can serve others with my forgiveness, with my not holding others to standards higher than I set for myself, with my letting go my grudges and resentments, with my pardoning others without punishing them. So I might ask myself, who at home, at work, at school, who around me might I set free simply by forgiving them? What pride might I need to surrender, to humble myself, to sacrifice, to forgive another? I can serve others with my generosity, with my freely giving even before I'm asked, with my quietly giving behind the scenes, with my giving until I feel the pinch myself. So I might ask, who at home, at work, at school, who around me has wants and needs that my generosity might answer and supply? Am I willing to give until I feel the sacrifice? To give not only from my surplus, from all the extra I have, but to give from my own need. And finally, I can serve others with the truth, with my speaking honestly when a lie would be so much easier, with my speaking accurately when I'm tempted to exaggerate, with my speaking face to face and not behind someone's back. So I might ask myself, who at home, at work, at school, who around me deserves a more honest, accurate, truthful, personal response from me, no matter what I have to give up to tell the truth? 7 very simple ways for all of us to serve one another, to serve as followers of Jesus, the servant of all, Jesus who came not to be served, but to serve us, to serve you and me. I doubt that in the serving we do, that we'll find ourselves like the servant in the first reading, afflicted and crushed in infirmity, or that we'll feel that we've been made a slave to others' needs. Serving in all the ways I've talked about is the work of love, genuine loving service. And genuine loving service brings us joy. The joy of giving ourselves, sacrificing, even suffering for others for the sake of love. The greatest service Jesus offered us was the gift of his life on the cross. He continues to offer us that gift here at his table, where in the bread and the cup of the Eucharist, he nourishes and strengthens us to serve one another. As the Lord has served us with his attention and affection, his compassion and his inclusion, his forgiveness, his generosity, the truth of his word, as he has served us, let us serve one another at home, at work, at school, in the lives of those around us. Sacrifice is often difficult and irksome. Only love can make it easy, and perfect love can make it a joy.